So I bet when you hear Alfa Romeo, you think Italian. I bet Brazil doesn't cross your mind. This is a story of an executive sedan built exclusively for a foreign market. Its trajectory of development is intertwined with the history and development of Brazil's burgeoning automotive sector and its evolution of its local partner, F&M. The 2300 was proudly marketed as the import car built in Brazil. It was a blend of advanced engineering and outdated underpinnings and a distinct Latin American character to it. The 2300's story begins with FMN. This was a state-owned Brazilian company. They were founded in 1942. Mainly what they did was airplane motors. After World War II, FMN shifted their focus to the automotive industry, entering with a partnership with Alfa Romeo in the 1950s to produce trucks and buses under license. This relationship deepened in the 1960s when FMN launched their first passenger car, the FMN JK2000. Fancy. And this car was based on the Berlina Alfa Romeo 2000, and the FMM successor, the 2150, solidified Alfa Romeo's presence in the luxury car segment. In 1968, Alfa Romeo got more of the pie of F&M.
Oh, the hell with it.
Acquiring a controlling stake, and this really solidified Alfa Romeo to the Brazilian market. With the FMN 2150's platform aging, Alfa Romeo's engineers would get busy on designing some new stuff. This was specifically for the Brazilian market. Project name was 102/12. 102/12. Put a slash in it. Okay. This new little car would become the Alfa Romeo 2300. Although the Alfa Romeo Alfetta was the inspiration, this was a completely different car. It wasn't a rebadged version, it was its own vehicle, its own man. Yeah. With its own dimensions, it was a larger and unique vehicle, wanting to care for the feelings and the needs of the Brazilian executive class. The Alfa Romeo 2300 was officially launched in March 1974. Its exterior design was a departure from its predecessors, with more formal and simple lines that was following the straight lines of the European market at the time. Big old windshield, 4 round headlights, and a big rear end. Its interior was really a mix of luxury and a little bit of sportiness, you know, Alfa Romeo. It always had good design. Underneath the contemporary bodywork, however, the Alfa Romeo mechanicals were a significant revolution for the market, but definitely not a revolution. It was based on the old platform of the 2150, which itself was based on technology from the 50s. Underneath the hood, it had a updated F&M twin cam 4-banger. And this little motor produced about 140 horsepower, and that was absolutely astounding in the Brazilian market of the 70s. On top of having 140 horsepower, it had a 5-speed transmission. Boom, that is awesome. The 2300 was really advanced for the Brazilian market. Maybe not the rest of the world, but Brazil, it was really cutting edge for the 1970s. In fact, it had all 4 disc brakes, and that was a first for the Brazilian market. Boom, Alfa Romeo for the win. Despite its advanced features and elegant design, the 2300 wasn't without its challenges. The FMN factory in Rio de Janeiro was known for pretty bad quality control. In fact, it was wretched quality control. And this plagued the earlier models. This, combined with a relatively high price point, really made this Alfa Romeo a niche vehicle. However, the 1976 ban on import cars to Brazil really created a unique opportunity for the Alfa Romeo here in Brazil in the executive class. It was the only European luxury sedan on the market here in Brazil. The only one. If you wanted something with European class, that was it for the executive line. I mean, you could drop down and do like a Volkswagen, but not in the 70s. The uptighties, You know, the Machitos, they really had an affinity for this vehicle back in the 70s. The 2300 really did get some improvements as time went on. 1976 brought the 2300B. This had some design refinements, a few technical updates to really address some of the early quality control issues. Later, the TI and the TI4 versions were launched, offering even more upgrades, such as like air conditioning, power windows. I don't like power windows. They're heavy. They make the car heavy. Power steering, power brakes, and I think we all can agree that's a win. And the production of the 2300 even continued as Alfa Romeo was falling into financial troubles and withdrew from the Brazilian market. They sold everything off to Fiat. And Fiat and Alfa Romeo kind of have like this brotherly bond, you know? So out of respect of Alfa Romeo, Fiat continued the Alfa Romeo name, changed nothing about the vehicle, just kept producing it. They did move the manufacturing to Fiat's operation in Betim, Brazil. In a very curious turn of events, there was a surplus of 2300s just sitting around because the Brazilian government was really pushing alcohol vehicles. They really were wanting to cut back on the sale of gasoline and push alcohol vehicles. So there was just like a plethora of these little Alfa Romeos sitting around. So they started shipping them over to Europe, started sending them over to Germany and Europe. They sold them as the 2300 Rio. And these really were kind of a hit and miss. Like they did kind of really good in Germany, but not so much in like Europe Central, you know, like they really had a short life in Europe. European automotive journalists were really critical of the outdated underpinnings, which they said was really archaic to whatever was being released in Europe at the time. And it's true, you know, I like it. It's old. I'm old. I like old things. But you know, the export flop really underscored the Brazilian identity of the 2300. The 2300 was built for a Brazilian market, for a protected market. You know, Brazil really wanted to protect their market from looking at you, Japan, coming in and eroding the automotive sector. Like that was a big part of Brazil's economy. And look what happened to America. They came in with all those beautiful little Toyotas and imports, and now half of America is a ghost town. So I gotta say, even though it really hurt Brazil's automotives, like we don't have Porsches down here really. We don't have a $5,000 Boxster down here in Brazil. But you know, we have a thriving automotive sector still, for the most part, to my knowledge. You know, where I look in America and there's just ghost towns, we still have jobs down here. So, you know, win for Brazil. The 2300's production finally ceased in 1986, and it really remains a significant vehicle here in Brazil's automotive landscape. You know, it really helped to shape some of the history and direction in which vehicles went down here. It was really a sophisticated, homegrown luxury car of Brazil, you know. Can you say we got that nowadays? I don't know. Tell me what vehicles I don't know about that are awesome, super made here in Brazil luxury vehicles. You know, Japan has the Crown. What does Brazil have? Let me know down in the comments. If you can, give a thumbs up. Please subscribe. We'll love to have you here. Please be a part of this and help this channel grow. And like I always say, I'll see you on the flip side. Até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.
Vai, tia, solta a corda, tia, tem que soltar, tia. É...